Once upon a time, in a place called Willow Creek, strange things happened all the time. A chicken laid an egg with 5 toes. Tomatoes burst into song under the silver glow of the moon. Yep, it was a normal day in a town filled with the extraordinary. And then one day, right there at the farmer's market, 5 peculiar green beings showed up. Not in spaceships, not with any fanfare, not with laser guns or galactic good cheer. They just stood there, looking around, wide-eyed, curious, and oddly serious. Turns out these folks were neither hostile nor conquerors. No, they were seekers, and they had traveled across galaxies to get to this very market. You might be wondering what a bunch of green aliens have to do with a quaint little farmer's market. Well, stay tuned, because their story holds a lesson that's sweeter than any strawberry and deeper than any spaceship. Now, their world called Loria was once as green as Earth, only richer, full of colors unknown to human eyes, flavors that made your whiskers dance, and spirits that soared higher than the tallest tree. They'd come to Earth specifically because Loria had lost its green. Its people had lost their way. Many years ago, the Lorian farmers forgot how to grow. Now, you might think, hey, they had fancy space farms. What could go wrong? Well, a lot, actually. Farms became factories. Questions got lost in the shuffle, replaced by commands and numbers. Soon, they lost everything. Their soil, which turned hard and gray. Their skies, choked by metallic clouds. And worst of all, they lost their smiles. So now the Lorian were traveling across galaxies to find other worlds like Earth, searching not for new land, but for lost wisdom, hoping to learn what they'd forgotten. And they found it right there in that little Earth market. But let's rewind a bit. It was a regular old market day. Stalls overflowed with fresh produce. The air buzzed with the chatter of neighbors. It smelled like cinnamon buns and fresh-tilled soil. Then suddenly, "Whoa!" exclaimed one of the aliens. He was the smallest of the bunch, with skin the color of emeralds and antennas that twitched with excitement. He was holding a simple strawberry in his 3-fingered hand, staring at it as if it were a cosmic mystery. The farmer beside him, a weathered old man named Harold, chuckled. He'd seen plenty of gawkers at his stall, but never anyone quite like this. "Say there, Sonny," he drawled. "What's got you all in a twist?" The alien blinked, then slowly turned the strawberry over in his hand. "How can something so fragile," he whispered, his voice echoing with wonder, "carry so much sweetness?" Harold burst out laughing. It was the most genuine laugh he'd had in years. "Well, ain't that just the truth?" The alien, whose name was Leto, paused. His antennas drooped slightly. It was the first time Harold had ever seen them lose their usual vibrancy. Leto started, his voice barely above a whisper. "We don't have soil. We have metal boxes and nutrient paste." As Leto spoke, the other Lorian crowded closer, their faces etched with longing. That day, the strawberry incident, as it came to be known, changed everything. It cracked open a world of understanding between 2 species separated by galaxies, yet bound by the same dreams, the same hopes, the same love for the simple wonders of existence. For Harold, it reminded him of the joy of sharing his life's work, of passing on the wisdom of the soil. The next day, they returned to the market, not as gawking tourists, but as eager students. They stood behind the stalls, helping out, asking questions, listening intently. They handed out crisp cucumbers, asked children about kale, and marveled at the endless varieties of lettuce. "Why do humans grow food when machines can make it faster?" he asked her, unable to contain his curiosity. Maya stopped skipping and looked at the alien, her gaze steady and wise beyond her years. "Because food you grow," she said softly, "tastes like home." The Lorian gathered around, hanging on to Maya's words. To them, growing food was just a task, a means to sustenance. But Maya's words hinted at something deeper, something they'd long forgotten, something worth fighting for. That day, Maya became a small but mighty teacher, guiding her alien students towards a deeper understanding of human ways. She explained why bartered eggs were a sign of friendship, how shared meals wove communities together, and how a simple tomato grown with care could evoke more emotions than any nutrient paste ever could. Throughout the week, the Lorian roamed the market, observing, asking, learning. They discovered that to grow a tomato, you need water and sun, but to grow trust, you need something deeper: time, patience, heart. By the end of the week, the green ones stood on crates, not to sell, but to speak. Leto, still holding his now shriveled strawberry, addressed the entire market. Below him, the Lorian and the townsfolk of Willow Creek had gathered. The air was thick with anticipation, a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "On our world," Leto began, his voice echoing with emotion, "we thought growth was measured in numbers, in profits, in speed. But here, we've learned that true growth comes from questions, from failing, from caring." He looked down at the shrubbery, its once vibrant red fading to a memory. "This tiny fruit," he whispered, "has taught me more than 1,000 light years ever did." A hush fell over the crowd as they absorbed the alien's words. For a moment, the only sound was the rustling of leaves and the distant hum of insects. Then something remarkable happened. Tears streamed down some faces, others broke into smiles, and all hearts ached with a profound longing for a world that seemed both familiar and impossibly distant. After his speech, the aliens quietly distributed small notes to every vendor at the market. Notes that read simply, "Ask more than you answer. Grow more than you harvest. Love more than you sell." These words, scribbled in shaky hands on recycled paper, became a mantra, a reminder, a promise. To hear the symphony of life in the rustle of leaves and the murmur of the stream. Slowly, the market began to change. People started asking each other why, wondering about the intricate patterns on a leaf or the delicate balance of flavors in a freshly picked tomato. Kids planted seeds without being told, nurturing tiny sprouts with reverence. Even Old Man Harold, with his gruff exterior and weary heart, found himself smiling at his tomatoes, remembering the wonder of a child and the wisdom of a strawberry. The Lorian had come to Earth seeking answers, and they found them not in the vastness of space, but in the tiniest corners of nature. They learned that sometimes the greatest discoveries happen in the quietest moments, that the universe whispers its secrets to those who listen, and that the journey home begins with a single step, a curious question, and a willingness to learn from the smallest of strawberries. And so the tale of the Lorian farmers echoes through the ages, a reminder that the most complex mysteries can be solved by the simplest of minds, and that the greatest wisdom is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to ask the right question. Now, if you enjoyed this intergalactic adventure, we've got more stories just like it. So hit that subscribe button and join us on this cosmic journey of wonder and wisdom. And remember, just like the Lorian, keep asking questions. After all, that's how we grow.